Hey, what's up, YouTube? Enforcer5150 here, and I am back. I am really sorry that I had missed so much of this week, and I was not able to upload like I wanted to. School's been crazy, and I had to take my priorities and make sure that I did the right thing first, which was school. Anyway, what we're going to do today, we're going to go ahead and review Final Fantasy 15, because that is what I've been playing this week, and it, I have to say, is amazing. So let's look more into this game. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to mention that I have recently become a affiliate of Acer, and I just want to give that as a full disclosure that the links in the description for anything that's in my game setup will be affiliate links. So I just wanted to make sure I let everybody know that without, trying to clickbait them into something. But really, I believe in their products. That is why I decided to search out affiliate for them. I will be buying more products from them in the near future. So let's go ahead and get this game fired up and get to the review. So it's sad to say, but a lot of the beginning of the game was a little bit boring. I wouldn't say boring, but it just wasn't really that interesting to me. As I started to get further on and I started meeting some of the characters that are in the game, and, they started bringing to life, some of the world that you're actually in, it started to get a lot more interesting. Like the character that you end up talking to, he gives you a few little quests and stuff like that. It didn't appeal to me. The guy, like you see here on the pier, it really just didn't give me that sense that I wanted to, further explore the game. Now, where this game really starts to shine is where Final Fantasy has always shined: the cinematics. The cinematics are so in-depth and so, real to life. Even since if you played, say, Final Fantasy VII, and everybody can agree with me, that was probably one of the best Final Fantasies that we could play. Yeah, no, there's some other ones, don't get me wrong. But when the cinematics came up in this Final Fantasy 15, that's where I was starting to really start, getting into the game and getting into what the characters and actually giving a crap about the characters. Uh, you have to remember that Final Fantasy was always about the fantasy, the world that you're in, the people that you run into and stuff like that. When I started it out, everything just kind of seemed kind of blah and everything else. And then this happened. We started getting these small cinematics when, your character picks up the swords and, starts, finding out, more about his heritage and him as being, the next king that's coming up. And I've always seen this stuff in the earlier Final Fantasies, which I wasn't seeing in the beginning. In the beginning, all I seen was, the four characters that are kind of like brothers, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And I almost said, heck with it, I'm gonna, get my refund for this game. But I'm glad I didn't, because things started to get really interesting after you got past a certain point. Next, we got into, the skill trees. The skill trees were actually pretty good. I haven't got too far into it yet, but a lot of the skill trees are, based on Nock, which is your main character, and your party. So you're actually, building everything for your party as well as just yourself. Instead of just yourself that you're building. Some of the older ones, you would help, build up a different character, but usually they would go later on. But these guys are with you until the end, it seems. And that brings us to our next thing. The fighting. The fighting style is different than the rest. When you actually fight Titan and you start fighting, even the other characters in the world, it is a really big teamwork that you're working with all the rest. What you have to do is you have to work with the others and get them to help you fight. I didn't start learning that until later on in the game. When I started fighting Titan, I kind of felt like I was just by myself and I was just trying to figure things out yet, and I was just basically getting my butt kicked. But then later on, I started to learn that you could do other things with your other characters. And let me tell you, once you start using your other characters and they start helping you out and starting to hit and starting to take those hit points down on your enemies, it really makes a difference in your gameplay. There was a lot that I was missing in the whole, I'd say, first 10 hours of playing Final Fantasy 15. But even without doing that in the game was still actually really fun. And I can't say the same for how Final Fantasy 14 first came out. I have to say I hated it. I did not like it at all, and it seemed generic. It seemed boring. It didn't have that much of the story that you could really get out of it until they came out with Reborn and they fixed everything that they kind of messed up when they came out with the original Final Fantasy 14. This one, I started getting excited. I was just like, oh my god, I cannot believe that, you know, Square Enix did this, and then, you know, they made another great game. And I have to tell you, I was going to not buy this game because they kept the port closed for so long. But I'm glad I picked up the game and started playing it because now I am addicted to it. And, you know, aside of my schoolwork, I have been doing nothing but playing Final Fantasy 15. So I think I've racked up almost 30 hours of it in the last week. And yeah, I mean, it really grabbed my attention after that initial, I'd say, intro area of the game. But, you know, in some bad parts, but also good, you kind of find yourself button mashing when you start really getting into the fights. Like, I started going against Titan, and I was just like, I just wanted to see what else I could hit and see what else I could do and everything else, because it was the first time that you really had a big fight that you were, you know, starting to work with. So I was just, you know, mashing buttons and just trying to find out what kind of different combinations I would be able to do. And that's, you know, where I was more finding out more about, you know, the teamwork that I was able to do and use other characters and start mashing down the hit points quicker because I was just literally getting my butt kicked. Now, putting fighting aside, the eating part of the game to boost your stats is actually pretty cool. You can make camp at certain locations, and you can make some of the food that you come across. I found that you have different types of food will give you, you know, different types of like attack bonus. It'll give you different types of health boosts, and it really does help throughout your day, throughout your gameplay. So you always want to make sure that your characters are filled up. I did not find a certain level or anything like that, like meter that told you that you ran out of whatever you just ate. I assume it's when your characters actually start saying, "Oh, I'm starving to death," and the other guy kind of makes a, you know, smarty comment. He's like, "Yet we're still alive." But other than that, you know, the eating part is a good part of the gameplay as well. Now, one of the things I found really annoying, and I think it's only some of the part of the game, is that these Imperials constantly are dropping out of the sky. There's a, you know, a craft that comes above and it drops these guys off, and they drop them off, you know, pretty much right on top of you. And sometimes it's like right after another, right after another. It's kind of like, yeah, come on, man. I've already fought these guys 6 times in the last, you know, 20 minutes. I'm kind of done with it. But I think it's part of the story, and I think that part calms down later on. I'm not far enough to know, but the way I keep on seeing the story unravel, it seems like that is what's going to happen. Now, the magic also in this game is a little low key. You have to create your your spells, and you can only make so many on how many flasks you have with you. And then when you use them, they actually generate friendly fire. So they're gonna actually hurt the people that you're with. So if you have your guys, helping you fight, and you throw something like a fireball or a windstorm or something like that, what's gonna happen is they're gonna actually hit all your characters and actually kill them from friendly fire. Which next thing brings me to the spells themselves. You only really get three elements. You get fire, lightning, and ice. You can use either one of the three, or you can combine the fire and ice. You can combine, all three of them for a unicast, but that's really it. There's no, advanced magic that I found yet. I did find that you're able to add different items and some treasures and food to your spells, and that will increase how much it will do. Like, you can have it actually heal you when you throw your magic or anything else like that. So that part is kind of cool, but like I said, it's really limited as far as your magic abilities go in this Final Fantasy. Now, one of the things they really put in here and like really emphasize is the pictures. Taking pictures. Like, one of the main characters, his main thing, Promptu, his skill is photography. All he does is take pictures all the time. You can even increase how many pictures he takes in a day. And, sometimes they're just really just dumb, and I don't know. They seem really cheesy. Like he's taking selfies and stuff like that, and I'm just like, wait, why? I don't understand it. Some of the pictures they take are pretty cool, and then you can save them and everything else. So that's okay, but also kind of lame. Now for another part of the game that I really found enjoyable, the fishing. They put a lot of detail into actually fishing in this game. If you've ever played Bassmasters back in the day, I think it was on Super Nintendo or PlayStation. But they really kind of just trapped that feeling of the entire Bassmasters type game, how it was back then. But you can choose your lures. You can change your tackle completely. You can change out the fishing rod. You can change out your lure. You can change out the string that you're using, to catch better fish. That can be a little bit stronger. Um, Once you catch a fish, it will latch on, and then you have to try and reel it in, and it'll get the line tighter, and then it'll get the line looser. Depending on how you're moving it and how strong the fish is, and then when you catch the fish, it'll give you a different record each time. So you could spend literally hours just fishing if you're the type of person that likes fishing games. Now, unfortunately, that's all I have for today. The episode is way longer than I really wanted it to be. There's just so much to cover in this game. There's so much to do. I do plan on live streaming it a little bit from my computer instead of from my TV, which I did most of these recordings, and that's why the quality is a little bit lower. It's not the 1440p that I normally would get, but it was more of the 1080p that just basically that my TV will capture, or the NVIDIA Shield will capture, which I will do a review on shortly. Look at links in the description. You can find discounts on this game. At this time, it was 20% off. It may have gone down a little bit. Also, if you are interested in any of the equipment that I have bought, you've seen in my other videos, I will also have those links in the description. If you enjoyed the Acer monitor Predator that I bought, that is also in the description, as well as the other two, because Acer has a lot of great things, and I recently just became a affiliate with them, so it is an affiliate link. If you want to support my channel, definitely hit that link and see what you might want to buy. But other than that, I have to say Thank you all for putting up with my week of absence and my school and everything. I really appreciate all the subscriptions I have. And if you like the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content. I will see you guys later.